Welcome to the Skull Meatloaf podcast. My name is Anne. We talk about evolving on your own terms at your own pace and we know how with honesty and humor. And this is the 5-Minute Meatloaf, where we normally cover a topic that gives you something for consideration for the week. We're going to talk about today, if you're a self-help reader, you've heard it, Mel Robbins' book, Let Them Theory. Now, it's very popular. It's popular on all social media platforms. She's a mindset coach that talks about locus of control, independent aspect, and conflict resolution skills. Now, instead of taking a whole bunch of time, I just want to share that a lot of the times these concepts that new coaches or coaches, influencers, creators, even medical practitioners, they take these well-substantiated evidence-based theories like attachment theory, locus of control, and they'll smack it on to something with a couple new words and call it their own theory. Now, I need you to know that I wanted to give you an alternative to this theory. But before I do that, I want to give you a background of locus of control. Now, there's external versus internal locus of control. Internal is where we as social animals place control or high value on ourselves, our own experiences, and blame ourselves when things happen. External locus of control is high value on other people, their experiences and their opinions, and they blame other people when things happen. Now, Robbins explained that you use something called let them, let me, etc. Let them is the whole that if people are trying to bring you into their drama, their conflict, etc., you say let them. Let people do what they're doing, that we don't need to engage and participate in it. It's a decent place to start. I would give it a read. Yet I want you to consider an alternative. Now, I'm not going to write a book and capitalize on it. I don't have enough viewers for creator funds. So I figured let's do a 5-minute podcast where we think about evolving to make things a little less chaotic. What I found was let them was just another repositioning of control for me. It didn't really work. I understood the concept of it and it made a lot of sense. But what I found is there's a difference between power and control. I think power gets kind of a bad rep. Normally is talk about power over people instead of focusing on the beauty of empowering or empowerment within ourselves. Now, control is about the influence or ability to affect behaviors like calculations that we make, whereas power is about the outcomes associated with the action. Now, I find myself as a control freak in recovery. When working with my clients and students, they focus so much on controlling situations, themselves, on others, instead of accepting the reality of science as social animals, that we're going to be social animals with or without them, me, you, us. It isn't about what we control. It's about what we empower, what we focus our outcomes on for our own peace. And we each have the power to find peace. Now, here's my issue with let them. We don't let people do anything. That's control. It's another reallocation of control, which is the basis of the theory. That's what she's saying, is to focus on control. But we have absolutely no say in what people do or don't do. They're going to do it regardless if we're here or not. So I always felt let them. I understood the gist and it's helpful as, a verbal side sweep in situations, but I'm going to give you an alternative that is based in science and just as catchy. So here it is. Are you ready? It's the words they get to. They get to. Human beings get to have experiences, reactions, emotions, behaviors. We have nothing to do with it. They get to exist in their own skin and we got nothing to do with it. Well, what if they're trying to bring me into their drama, etc.? Well, sometimes people try to lasso you into horde mentality because that's the science of people or social animals. That's why bullying exists in adulthood still. We all should grow up when our frontal lobe is developed. No, we don't. People get clever about how they organizationally bully adults to create a quote unquote, I have more people in my corner, so I must be valid or correct. Whether that's true or not, they get to evolve at a different pace. And you know what? They're going to. They get to experience life on their own terms as long as there's no imminent risk. Imminent risk, we intervene. Most of the time, guys, it's not. Well, imminent risk, what about the long-term effects? What if they do it to others? Listen, Larry and Linda, I don't want to start with this, but I'm going to say I can barely buy eggs, manage 2 to 3 jobs, and pay rent. Though I appreciate your white knight delusional expectation of your purpose in the world, but it's not your job to take care of other people. Because I can tell you that if you ignore, say less or nothing, and realize they get to, guess what? The less energy, ammo, and fire you give to these kinds of people, the more of us that do that, they have nothing to entertain them. And guess what? Eventually those quote unquote friends and that horde mentality is going to grow. They're going to grow out of them. And they're either going to evolve alongside the rest of us or they're going to be miserable and lonely in some capacity. But we don't have anything to do with that except to be the first or one of many that says they get to. Don't engage. Go live your life. Living your life. I have said this for 8 seasons. Living your life is the best antidote to these kinds of humans. I'm not condoning bullying. I'm saying that it exists. Guess what, you guys? You already know that. And you know what? They get to. Just as we get to have our response. We get to evolve our own way. We get to have our own behaviors. Empowerment. And we have bred a whole bunch of control freaks trying to fight for social and emotional resources and honestly, financial. It's incredible. But they get to feed. They get to feed into the control freak mentality that somehow we have a say in any of that. We have a say in ourselves. I get to, they get to. So for Fook's sake, empower yourself. Empower others by sharing this if you also found it helpful. And as always, evolve and heal on, my friends.